The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
So welcome to another episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcast, where we spotlight industry leaders who are making waves. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, and today's guest is Kat West. She is a top 5% realtor nationwide and one of Yahoo Finance's top 5 women to follow on Instagram. As a certified luxury marketing specialist with 8 years of experience, Kat delivers a VIP experience to every single client, regardless of price point. So join us as she shares her journey, success strategies, and vision for creating exceptional real estate experiences. Welcome to the show, Kat.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. You make me sound so fancy.
You're involved in luxury, girl. So what inspired you to focus on the luxury market and become a certified luxury marketing specialist?
Yeah, so I don't actually focus on luxury. It is part of my business, but as an agent, as a team leader, I really see myself as more of an entrepreneur in this business than a realtor. That's a big part of what I do, and we do have luxury listings, but it's not really the focus. It's just one of those branches, another pillar of our business.
Awesome. What inspired you to even step into real estate in the beginning?
Yeah, so my parents were in real estate my whole life, and I really just got my license because I thought at some point they had all these investment properties. Some point I was going to need to know a little bit about that business and how to help them manage it because I'm an only child. I just figured I needed to figure it out. That was about 8 years ago. I have literally never worked with them at all in the business. But as I went through my schooling, I was in sales before. And as I went through my schooling, I was like, oh, this is sales. But I could run with this and market it in my own way. So I jumped into the business, and I had a prior business working with a wedding magazine and helping them with all of their sales for advertisements. And then before that, I was working in the events industry and several different companies, jumping around, trying to find my place in the world. Before that, I was actually a acrobat and a dancer for about 10 years.
Right. Well,
So
there you
it
go.
was quite a journey to get here, but I never thought I'd be so passionate about something, but I love it.
Brilliant. Well, your past is definitely helping. So many realtors, they're not quite embracing social media as a way to market themselves, which they're missing out on a massive opportunity. So you've been recognized as one of Yahoo Finance's top women on Instagram. So how did that impact your real estate career?
I have been using social media since I started my business, and I remember hearing people come at me, those little voices of like, are you even getting any business from this? Like, you post things about your life and these stories, and at that time there weren't reels, but like, are you actually getting business? And I remember being so defeated because I was like, I'm not really getting business yet. Like, I had just started, but I knew that it was going to produce the fruit if I just stayed the course and I kept showing up authentically and I kept giving value. So I kept doing it. And it was about 6 months in when I got my first buy-sell transaction. So somebody who wanted me to list their property and help them buy a new property. And I was like, it's fine. So I just kept on that path. And that is where I get a large majority of my business is from social media. And yeah, when I was recognized as the top 5 to follow Yahoo Finance, that was really cool. It really, just it was that feather in my cap, if you will, that made me feel like, okay, I'm actually like really doing this. But to be quite honest, like if anybody's listening and wants to do social media, I mean, I had less than 2,000 followers at that time when I got that business. So there is enough room for everyone. Just show up authentically, and bring value. Like you've got to know who your ideal client is so you can bring that ideal client value. But it's an amazing tool to get free leads.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. And I suppose in this day and age, everybody's, we all want instant gratification. And so
Yeah.
it just goes to show that for you, and thank you for sharing, that it didn't happen overnight. This is about, like you said, just showing up, making a commitment to show
Yeah.
up consistently. And over time, it will, like you said, bear the fruit. So,
Yeah.
what drives your commitment to providing a VIP experience for every client, regardless of their price point?
I think I just think about the way I want to be treated in any type of, not even a transaction, real estate transaction, but when I go to Starbucks, when I go to Chick-fil-A, I think about the experience I have at a drive-through Chick-fil-A and how incredible that is. And I'm like, everybody needs to have this, no matter if you're going to Chick-fil-A or you're going to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Everyone should feel like their questions that they have are important and that somebody like really cares about getting them the information that they need. So, yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but I
Yeah,
just feel
yeah,
like
sure.
I
Well,
look at myself, what I would want.
yeah, and you're going to get repeat business from that when you treat
Absolutely.
everybody in that manner. It's about, again, so what I'm hearing from you is about the long-term strategy when so many people are treating it as purely a transaction. When
It
you go
is.
above and beyond, again, you'll get that back. So it's what I'm hearing from you is that it's just show up, do your best, make a commitment to put
Absolutely.
yourself out there, and over time you're gonna get the rewards. So
Yeah. Well, and I want to kind of add on to that because I do believe that for me, like my faith is everything. And I know that I'm not providing the results, like God is providing all of them. So if I just keep every day, every step, like listening and staying focused on what he wants me to do next, it always gives me the best results, always, no matter what. I literally, at this very moment, I have 3 listings. One that's about to come on the market that's a little bit over $1 million price point, and I have 3 rental listings, which that is an anomaly. I don't usually take rentals because if you're in this business, at least in my market, it doesn't bring that much money at the end of the day, right? It's a lot of sugar for a dime. But these are all clients that I have either worked with in the past or I'm helping them get to their next location. And you can't do everything all the time, but it doesn't matter. They're getting the same level of service as my $1 million listing because like they all need to get through this transaction to get to the next thing. And we do have a lot of repeat business as well. So
brilliant. So other than Instagram, what other strategies can you share with people to have the kind of success that you're having?
yeah, well, the other biggest piece of our transaction business is referral business within our organization. So I'm at eXp Realty. We have several different networks. If anybody doesn't know how eXp works, the model, we have our own organization called Thrive Alliance, and we have agents all over the country. And then we're part of another organization called Team GoGo. And all of these people within the organization, they help us to secure these referrals. And they're from other agents across the country. So that has been a huge, huge part of my business. We do at least six figures a year just in referral business. So that has been huge.
Brilliant. So combination of social media and referrals.
Yeah,
That's
and I
what's
do have what the other way that we've started getting a lot of business over the last few years is actually farming and sending mailers. I always thought, does that really work? And a couple years ago, I started doing it. I got to the end of the year, literally did not get one listing. I canceled the service. And then I think it was 2 weeks later, I had somebody call and we took the listing. I was like, okay, we need to start that up again. Because they always say with farming, like you need to at least give it a year. So yeah, since then, multiple communities, we've been farming and we tend to choose the communities that we've already had listings in, or we want, they're close by. We want to continue getting listings in so we can feed off of that with our marketing. But that has been another big source of growing business for us.
but again, what I'm hearing from you is the fact that stop expecting things to happen instantly. So
Mhm.
again, that's another strategy that you've just shared, that it took time to
Yeah.
cultivate. So stick with it. So do you
Yeah.
have any advice to give out to newbies, or, there's many that are, I would say are giving up too soon. So what would you say to both of those?
I'd say, first of all, you have to have a strong community to help your mindset, because your mindset in this business is everything. I always say we are on the real estate roller coaster. I have had months where I have had cancel after cancel, and then I've had I've had times where I have, 10 deals under contract at once. So if you have a community that keeps your mind strong, have a mentor that will just keep your head in the game, because it's really easy to do this alone and feel like you're on an island. But when you have people to lift you up, to remind you that, like, yeah, that's happening for us too. People cancel, or, you drive an hour and then all of a sudden they decide, oh, we're working with another realtor. We want to cancel our agreement with you. You're like,
Mm,
ah. But
right.
that's just part of it. Because then there are clients that are super easy. So I would say number one thing for a brand new agent is you've got to get a strong community that builds your mindset, and people who, like, make sure you're finding somebody who's gone before you and who has the success that you're looking to have.
Brilliant. And so, what trends do you see that are coming over the next year? You've had lots of changes this year. So, where
Yeah.
do you see things going?
I see 2025 blowing us out of the water. Like, it is definitely, we've been on this decline. I think I just read that from 2020 to 2024, there's been like a 40% decrease in sales of
Wow.
transactions. I'm like, 40%, that's insane. But the odds are in your favor, my friend. What goes down must come up. What goes up must come down. That might be the right way to say it. But history tells us that we're not going to just keep going down forever. It's going to come back up. Hopefully, these interest rates are going to go down, as they've been telling us. I think that we are just in the best market we could possibly be in. Especially if you are a new agent, like, just keep honing in on your craft to make yourself a stronger and stronger agent, because we're about to take off.
Brilliant. And so, well, would you like to share with the listeners, how have things been for you? Everybody has said this year's been a
Mhm.
little bit weird, right? So,
Yeah,
how
it
have
has.
transactions been for you, say last year compared to this year?
It's actually been very consistent, but I've been in the business for 8 years. So it hasn't been it's been a little bit slower. But we are tracking for, I just looked at it earlier, we're at like 24 transactions. I think by the time we close out the year, we'll be at 30.
Wow.
Um, so we're a little bit under what we're usually at, about 35 transactions a year. So but it's still,
Brilliant.
pretty consistent. So
Yeah. Absolutely. So what's next for Kat then? So what is next for you? We think things are going to be on the upturn. So
I
yeah, what are
do.
your plans for
Yeah.
2025?
So for me, I have some other things that I'm building within my real estate entrepreneurial business. I have a course that I created, and some of the partners that I've been working with, we are coming together to create an event. It is a faith-filled entrepreneurs event, like a live retreat. So we have actually not announced this yet at the time of us filming this podcast, but I know that when it comes out, we will have announced it. So I'm so excited for what God has for the women. It's going to be just for women. So for the women who decide to just jump in and be a part of this group, it's going to be for not only realtors, but just entrepreneurs anywhere and everywhere. So I'm really excited about that. And then just to stay steady, like with my real estate transactions, I want to just stay steady and eventually do less. Like my goal over the next 3 years is to only sell 12 homes a year. So I know that's like uh, sounds odd to most agents, but at this point, I want to sell less. We have such a growing community within Thrive Alliance, be able to bless other people with more transactions as I start to do some other things within this leadership role.
Exciting, exciting. So our last question is always the same because here at Icons, we're the number one real estate podcast network. And we are passionate about making podcasting accessible to anybody involved in the business of real estate. So for you, Kat, if you had your own podcast, what would you call it?
I think I would call it something like, I've thought about this before, something like faith in real estate or faith in action. Um, and
Brilliant.
yeah,
Yeah,
something
so
like
it's an alignment with what you're about to create in
yeah,
2025. Fantastic.
absolutely, absolutely.
So, lastly, how do the listeners reach out to you? How do they find you?
Sure. Instagram is the best way. It's just Kat West Realtor, and there you'll find me.
Simple.
Yep.
There it is, listeners. Nice, easy to remember. Look, Kat, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And to the listeners, I'll be back next time with the Icons of Real Estate. Bye for now.